What's going on, all you cool cats and kittens? It's Michael Gascon, the Horse Guru, and we are back for another episode of Horse Talk Live, where we help you with your ponies and the problems that you may be having with them. We are just finishing up the second day at the advanced, intermediate retreat. We just did Obstacles 101, Thunderdoming, and Obstacle Course. I feel like there was a lot of epiphanies made and a lot of ground gained. So I'm super excited to see how everybody comes out tomorrow for our soccer game, our pool noodle fight, and then we take it to the trails because that's where we head. So without further ado, may I bring to you some videos.
Today I'm going to work with Ginger with
Miss
long
Judy.
lining again.
Working on her pony.
Weave in and out of poles and just get some more steering and forward motion. And Corazon's out here. He's going to try to win.
Howdy up in Missouri. So we are long lining in between poles. Very cool. Yeet from Nevada. Hey from Oklahoma. Miss Judy, whenever you're driving this horse like this, kind of think almost the opposite direction you go, that's the direction he's going to go. So when you're trying to weave, instead of just trying to have left and right, use his butt to his disadvantage. If you want him to go right, you start boogering off to your left, and that's going to make him go right. Hey, my Florida people. We've got a Okie in the house. Hey, Miss Marty. So think about this, guys. When you're long lining here and you have the lines through and it's going around their butt, if I walk left, that's automatically going to start pulling on that right rein and pushing against that butt. So it's going to make it a lot easier to get them where you want to go. So if you're weaving her back to her left, you should be going right. And when you want to go right, you should be going left. And that's special for this. That's different than ground drive whenever you drive through a surcingle, because when you drive through a surcingle, the lines are above their butt, so you can't use their butt. So it doesn't matter where you stand, you just pull left or right. In this scenario, you can use their butt to your advantage because the line is wrapped around their butt. So if I walk off in one direction, that's going to pull them in the other direction. Maine and Wisconsin in the house. So right there, I want this horse coming back towards the cones. I'm going to be walking away from the cones or the pipes.
Good girl. Let me get this. Go. Now we'll turn.
Nice. Corazon comes and looks at the camera like, look. He's like, what's going on over here? Hey, the video camera right here. That's funny. I don't care who you are. Hey from PA. See, right here, I will be walking to my left as I'm trying to get her to go right.
Walk up. Come on. I told you to turn.
Texas, Georgia, Maine.
Walk up. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Walk up. Oh, that's enough turn. Walk up. Walk. Walk up. Walk up. Good girl.
Alabama and Minnesota. There we go. That's it. Keep walking left. Keep walking left and pulling right.
Straight. Good girl.
There we go. Now make sure she doesn't run into your hands here. So you're going to step forward, put a belly in the reins. Anytime she gets stuck, start walking off one direction or the other. There we go. Farmer Jay said, "You're the reason I started my 5-year-old quarter horse, literally watching your videos." Well, thank you so much, Farmer Jay. We appreciate that. We want to put that information out that empowers you and gives you the opportunity to work your own ponies.
Now let's go left or on the other one. Nope, nope, nope. I'm steering. Good girl. Back up. Nope, not all the way circle. Go. Back up. Back up.
There we go. Again, whenever we have a horse that's green to the point that they have a hard time just walking straight forward on lines, I'm really going to look to use my left and my right. If I can't move 4 feet, I'm going to move 2 feet. And I can always move 2 feet because I can take their face and move their butt. So if I get their butt moving, I get their butt moving, I get their butt moving, they're going to want to move forward to get a release. So whether I'm cold starting or just teaching a horse how to drive or whatever it may be that the horse is green in what I'm doing to the point that they don't really want to move, instead of trying to argue with them in a straight line and whoop or spank on them, I'm going to use their face and I'm going to move their butt. I'm going to move their butt and release them and move their butt and release them. The next thing you know, they're going to look to offer forward to you because you're disengaging and releasing. That's why your horse is moving better through the weave than in a straight line. Because in the weave, you're turning back and forth, and that's getting her some forward. Whenever you go in a straight line, she gets kind of stale and stagnant.
Come on. Now around this one. Good job, Ginger.
Kansas and New Mexico, Alabama, Minnesota.
Hey, we're doing this. Now let's go straight. Straight.
There we go.
All the way.
She's picking it up now.
Right.
Notice how she picked it up easier once we start getting those turns. So that right there of turning and disengaging one way and releasing, that's the same thing we do with cold starts. Whenever they don't know how to move, we simply move their butt and release them, move their butt and release them, move their butt and release them. Then they start walking off on their own idea, and we kind of leave them alone. And just like that. So the fact that you kind of weaved her through those, and then she started offering you forward, that's pretty spot on to what usually happens. That's it. That's it.
Good girl. Come on. Come on, Jen. Come on. And this one.
Very nice.
Get farther from the camera. Walk. Walk. Beautiful, Jen.
There we go. I'm loving the circle there.
Beautiful.
Look how soft she's getting. She's looking inward towards you. Very nice.
Very nice, Ginger.
Yeah. Farmer Jay says, that makes sense because literally what I'm running into at home where the horse gets stuck and she has to be led to keep going. I'm going to try that in and out.
Walk up.
I'm telling you, bud, it's going to work. If you disengage and release, disengage and release, disengage and release, on those releases, she's only going to disengage a couple times before that horse starts offering you forward.
Back.
And then you say, thank you.
Ginger. Back. Good girl. Now. Walk up.
The only really thing that I would change here in what you're doing is you want to be on the inside every time you drive that horse forward. I want to drive to the outside where that horse doesn't want me to go to the outside, and it's really going to move them forward. We don't have a lot of power here to drive her forward if she's not forward in this moment.
Good girl, Ginger.
But if she got stuck with you and you started walking off to the left, it would pull her face right, and it would make her feet start moving.
Good girl, Ginger.
Once she knows that you can get her forward, then you can come back and get on the inside like this, and it'll be
Good
easy.
girl. Keep going. Keep that bend. Good girl.
Nice.
I think this is a very good second day. I think so. Beautiful, Ginger. Beautiful. Good girl. Okay. You did great. I didn't even bring you a cookie. today I'm going to work with Ginger just on doing some power of the circle and try to keep as
Ginger's here,
soft
by
as
the
we're
way,
getting
at the
while
retreat.
doing some lung lining and backing up and try to get ready for the intermediate retreat.
So we've been working with her the past couple of days. Good horse, really honest horse, but she's stiff and resistant through the face. So we worked on picking her apart and really getting her softer and easier. And really, the key here to get this horse softer, where now she's not doing all of that after the past couple of days, was really just not fighting her fight, not letting her pull on us or flex with us. See how she's like stuck right there and just can't flex left or right? You can't turn that with a mare like that, a dull mare like that, into a tug of war match. My grandfather say, son, don't get in a pissing match with a skunk. You'll lose. Don't get in a tug of war match with a horse, especially a older, stubborn mare. You can't get in a tug of war match. What you do instead is you try to use that halter or that snaffle or whatever you have and create friction. So we pulsate, we pulsate, we pulsate. That halter goes rah, 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 rah. She starts feeling it heating up and she looks inward and we release. And then we do that. We start again. It's very similar to the dinging in your car whenever you drive the car and it goes ding, 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 ding. Whenever it does that, what do? You buckle up so it'll be quiet. The next time it goes ding, ding, and then you buckle up so it'll be quiet. The third time you hop in the truck, you buckle up and then you turn it on so it won't ding to you. It's the exact same thing. You can't beat this mare with power. You have to beat her with persistence. You don't beat her with force. You beat her with friction, where you're just moving the halter, moving the halter, moving the halter. She gives, I give. And I saw huge leaps and bounds in her capabilities over the past 2 days because whenever she came on day one yesterday, she was stiff and she just make a mean face at you. Anytime you touch her face will go straight up. Uh, that's the equivalent of hopping on a horse that has no steering wheel. Imagine you hop in your vehicle and the steering wheel's gone. Somebody stole it. You're like, I'm not gonna ride this thing. But this horse has a lifetime of experience riding like that because she's that good-hearted. If your horse is that stiff and she hasn't taken you on a RIDE ride, it's because she has a good heart, good personality. Because that mare being that stiff and resistant, if she wanted to, she could absolutely take you some yonder. Uh, so we want to work on just systematically making her softer and easier, softer and easier. So what she would do is she's so honest is that she said, hey, during obstacles, she'll go to obstacle and just plumb refuse and not care what we do. Like if we kick her or pop her or whatever we do, she just says, nope, I'm not going. Only a horse that is sticky and stuck in the face can do that to you because if they weren't sticky and stuck in the face, you could just move their feet left and right and drive them over. So whenever she went out to the obstacle course today, just night and day difference. The horse had zero issues. Okay, I'll go. Okay, I'll go. That's because not because we did the Thunderdome, not because we showed her obstacles, simply because we got her softer and more pliable. So there wasn't that conversation of, I'm going to argue with you. There was the conversation of, how do I get you to leave my reins alone? And the answer in all those scenarios was just go where I ask you to go. And since she kind of figured that out over the past couple of days, it looks like a different horse than this video. The other thing that Miss Judy told me is that she had an epiphany about how if the situation isn't fast, that her hands don't have to move fast. And that is a great an epiphany to have. A lot of times we're riding a horse that wants to speed up and we try to slow them down by grabbing up on them quickly to reprimand them. Well, frantic plus frantic only equals more frantic. So if we feel like, hey, we are not in trouble, so we don't have to be quick-handed, we could just, she speeds up and we say, come here, drop your head. She drops her head and we relax and give her the reins back. That's the way to reprimand the horse without getting them more excited. So many of us, we worked on a few people today that had that instinct that when the horse took one step in the wrong way, kick. It's very difficult to get the horse to flatten out and be calm and quiet if your reprimands come so sharp and quickly, and even your releases when we give the reins back, it's like, here, take the reins. Here, give them to me. Take them. Give them to me. Take them. If your teenager was driving your car, even though your car is smooth and you drive it just fine, you put your 15-year-old behind the wheel and then get hurt, jerking the steering wheel and the brakes. It makes it makes that horse get herky jerky and quick footed because you're quick handed. So everything that we're going to ask that horse to do, if we can take that deep breath and say, hey, drop your head, give me your face. If they booger off, they booger off, and give me your butt, cross over your back feet. And we can do it with that kind of monotoneness and the slowness in the way we act. That's really going to slow our horses down a lot. And this mare, once she started giving, and then Miss Judy figured out how to slow her hands down, she was really able to see big differences. Farmer J says, stay to the inside of her shoulder that's going forward. Jay, you're going to have to be a little bit more specific. Are we in the saddle? Are we on the ground? Are we using long lines, or are we riding the horse? So right here, Miss Judy's saying her horse stays so high-headed. Yeah, because when this video was taken, she was so resistant that everything happens up here. First, before we can ask the horse to drop their head, we have to get them soft left and right. Taking them left and right is half of their power. In a straight line is their whole power. Horses at their strongest, head up, nose out, is where they are the most resistant, where they're the strongest. So before we can start asking them to drop their head and be soft and easy, we have to get them butter soft left and right. Then they'll start dropping their head on their own. And then on top of that, we can start asking them to drop their head. When she was doing the in and out drill on the ground with the long lines, what I was telling her is if she's behind the horse, when she wants the horse to go right, she needs to go left to the outside of the turn, because that line is going to come tight through here and make that horse want to turn. So you're almost doing the opposite of what the horse does, because you have those long lines wrapped around their butt. So instead of you wanting that horse to turn to the left and you moving left and pulling back on them, which is going to shut them down, instead, I move off to my right. That pulls the left rein, gets that horse moving in the direction that I want. If you have any doubts about this, if you're watching this means you're part of the Cool Kids Club. Go to my long lining program. Go to my long lining videos, and it will show you exactly in the round pen how I do that, how I go the opposite direction of the horse, and that gives me a disengagement. Now I have control of their face and I have control of their butt. You have control of those two things. The horse has no say where they're going.
Or they can just make sure they're signed up for the challenge.
Or you can just make sure you're signed up for the challenge, and I will show you firsthand how to do it.
Horse Help Challenge.
Horsehelpchallenge.com.
Oh, you're such a walking billboard.
What are your go-to exercises for a gait on a trotty horse who has spent the last few years as a reiner and ranch horse? Does that trotty horse who spent the last few years as a reiner and ranch horse, is it a gaited horse? Because I don't have an answer if it's a quarter horse. I haven't figured out.
And he says that in the most genuine way possible.
I haven't figured that out yet, how to get them to gait.
Is that an expo that we had somebody try to...
Chloe. Chloe, if he's trotting, pick his head up, drive his butt up under him. Yeah, so if you have a gaited horse and they're trotting, they're too heavy on the forehand, and usually being too lethargic, you drive them up in the bottom, pick their chest up, pick their head up, their throat latch being vertical with their chest, and drive their butt under them with energy, and you'll get that gait, or in her case, that tilt. Howdy from Texas. The first time we're able to log on and watch. That's great. Welcome to our Horse Talk Live. We are currently watching Miss Judy work on the horse that she actually has right here, right now. She's here on the other side of the ranch. She's been here for the last couple of days doing the retreat.
I could do this without it feeling like I'm backing up an elephant. It would be
Nice.
nice.
Big release right there. Big release right there. Good. So that's the other thing we discussed a lot today too, is not all releases are the same. The harder it is for your horse to find something, the bigger and more obvious the release is, and the quicker it comes. If your horse is having a ridiculously difficult time to back up, if they lean back, I'll release. If they take a step back, I'm releasing. So a lot of times we want to jump to get more. So in this scenario, this horse is still twisting and turning and doing things. We're asking for multiple steps. If that horse is twisting and turning and doesn't know the answer, When they take one step back, I'm going to give them a release and then come back to it and give them a release and come back to it.
I want to work with her. She's trying to get us first up. She does not understand at all. So as I ride her up,
We're working on getting that bend to the inside now. She's making those changes of directions. Oh, kick her feet off. Ask her to back up.
that's how I started. I get that I have to do that repeatedly.
Working on getting her softer and easier in the stop. And again, this pony was just a gator horse that's accustomed to kind of laying on the bridle, which is pretty common. That was good. I saw her butt come up on her. So many horses that are having issues, they're simply out of balance. And the older I get, the more I realize this. If your horse, you drop the reins and they go faster, they are leaning forward because they're accustomed to being held on. Like colt starts, you drop the reins to them and they don't go forward because they're not off balance. They don't know that they're supposed to be going forward. So it only happens on seasoned horses that have been riding and letting somebody hold against them and they've been holding against the person. They get a forward inclination.
I know this is a pretty advanced.
I can tell you this, if you are sprinting full speed, you have leaned forward, right? The steeper you're forward, the faster you're going to go. Vice versa, whenever you are jogging, you are straight up and down because you're going slow. For the left and the right, it's the same as well. If you're on a bicycle and you are leaned over on that bicycle, I can tell you one thing, you're going fast because you can't lean over and be going slow. If you try to go as slow as your bicycle will allow you to go, you have to get balanced and be straight up and down. What does that have anything to do with horses? If your horse, you turn it and it speeds up, it's off balance. It's looking to lean against you. It's looking to fall in against you. That's why it's speeding up. If your horse, you drop an inch or into it and it speeds up, it's leaning forward. And the moment there's not support there, it's falling apart. So first we get them soft and easy face and butt. And then we give them their face and we lunge them from the saddle, basically. If you are on a lunge line on a horse and you want to go faster, what do? You put them at the end of the lead rope or the end of the round pin, and you put pressure until they canter. Vice versa, if you want them to slow down and they're just making hot laps around you, what do? You pick up on that lead rope and make the circle smaller and smaller, and then you start disengaging and releasing and disengaging and releasing. What if you did the exact same thing under saddle? You know what you would happen is you would get the exact same results. You would get a horse that doesn't need you to hold on to them for them to do their job. They have 4 legs. They can balance themselves. This mare right here, all we did was soften her up over the past couple of days, and now she's not tossing her head every time we touch her face because now she's not so off balance. So go back to balancing that horse out. If we go around that blue barrel there, if that horse is going slow, lazy, and lethargic, I'm going to use a bigger circle. I'm going to have my hands forward and give her the freedom. And I'm going to use this whole little field here and circle both barrels. If my hands are down by the withers and that horse speeds up, I'm going to disengage around that barrel and release her. Disengage around that barrel and release her. She's only going to let me do that to her 2 or 3 times before she doesn't speed up on that loose rein because there's nobody there to catch her. Only somebody there to redirect her. Right here, we're kind of trapping this horse, and the horse is kind of stiff and resistant. And you can just see how this is going to be a long, hard conversation with that horse not wanting to give because we're going against her lean. She's a gated horse that's been on the trail her whole life. She wants to lean forward, and we're trying to lean back, and that's causing a lot of head tossing and fussing. We get her soft and easy left and right and keep giving her a ridiculous loose rein where she has nobody to support her, and she'll start standing upright. She'll start being softer and easier in the face. All that fussiness with her paw on the ground will disappear. They said, you already answered my problem before we even got to my video. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Walk off quietly. I see she takes a couple steps and she comes fast. She goes into the overdrive like that. So
Miss Lori
can't even get the first step without her going.
Miss Lori is one of those
going into overdrive. Even though we've been sitting here calmly.
These guys kind of hit and miss, and they have freaking great ride, amazing rides that they can do anything and go anywhere. And then they get other rides where their wires get a little crossed. And for me, it's that balance of the horse leaning forward on us and feeling like they need some support that makes us feel like we're kind of losing it. So when we get softer and easier and we get that horse where they're pressing to that loose rein and they're not leaning on us, if you have something to push up against, you can lean. But if there's nothing, if I tell you to stand up and there's nothing to lean against, you have to stand up, right? That's just what happens to a horse. And trying to figure out how to not fight the off balanceness of a horse is a hard thing, because a lot of times we think a horse is being bad or has malicious intent or is being fussy, when really we're just fighting their balance. They're leaning one way, we're leaning the other. We try to release them and be good and they speed up, or we try to turn and they speed up or get herky-jerky with us. Lindsay and Cash, working on back end. We have better backing but still have an issue with our stop. How can we work on this? All right, let's see what we've got. Look at that mossy oak. Okay, in that backup, I want you to push those reins back to the withers and push those shoulders back like this, like you're drawing. You see how you're still sitting up and sitting pretty? I want that reining stop is here. Whenever we stop and we back, we want our back rounded up like this, our chin dropped. It needs to look like we're falling on the back of the seat like this, because that's the back posture that we want out of our horse. Well, it's hard for our horse to have this back posture if we're sitting like this and we're sitting pretty. So watch your horses try and watch you kick your legs off. He's going to try, and then he's going to back up. See those feet kick off, but where was your chest and where was your shoulders? You were still chest poked out, shoulders poked out, flat back. It's very difficult for your horse to have a rounded back when we have a flat back, since our horse is a direct representation of us. If you don't believe me, look at a jockey. How does a jockey sit? How does the racehorse look? How does the jumper sit? How does the jumping horse look? How does the cutter sit? How does the cutting horse look? Are you seeing the epiphany? However you sit in the saddle is how your horse is going to look and react. I get all the time people that come to me that want their horse to walk on the trail, and this is their idea of telling them to walk. Walk, 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 you stupid horse, walk. If you are sitting up and pretty and your hands are up here, your horse is going to pick his head up, and now your horse is jigging and your horse is animated, but your horse is animated because you're animated. We have to lead by example. So even when I reprimand a horse that I want to be quiet and easy, I pressure them, but I pressure them like this, like I'm unengaged and unenthused, like I can care less, like, yeah, come here, give me your face. Whenever I ride Cash, what was he at? He was at the cattle retreat. Whenever I ask him to stop and back, I would rock my shoulders back. My hands would be forward, pushing down against his withers or pushing towards his withers, and my shoulders rock back, and I'm rounded here. Look at my back, how it's rounded. Boom. Because that tells the horse, this is what I want out of your back. I want your chest to suck in. I want your head to drop down. How do I tell my horse that? I suck my chest in. I drop my head down. I give him those reins. If you can do that, and that's the only time that you sit like that, well, then when you're going forward and you sit back like that, he's already thinking, stop, back. So now as you're going forward and you're going to ask for that slide, look at the reiners in the rundown. When the reiners go down the rundown where they slide, they do everything else up here. If they're going big, fast, they're up forward. If they're cantering small, slow, they sit up. When they go down the rundown and stop, they ride the whole thing like this. And then they take their legs off. By them having their body back here in that stop position already, whenever they take their legs off, the horse is already thinking stop. For Cash here, he's getting surprised. He's going along. Whoa. And there's no body cue to go with it to let that horse know that it's coming. And that's why he's kind of missing it. And then whenever you want him to back straight, make sure that your shoulders and chest are pointing in the same direction. Even if he turns, keep your chest pointed in that direction so he reprimands himself. He's still bolting off on me. We are in an open arena. Not sure if it's my seat or stirrups are in the correct place. All right, let's check it out. So look at her. She's working on that balance. Look how she's on that loose rein. There we go. If he's going faster than what you want, see how he's leaning in? I want you to step in your outside stirrup a little bit. Look how your feet are the same as your horse. Your horse is off to the side and you're off to the side too. I want you to straighten yourself up. When I'm riding young colts like this and I'm balancing them out and giving them the rein, if they lean in like he's leaning, I keep my feet parallel with the ground versus leaning with that horse. You leaning with that horse right there, so leaned over, he can't slow down, not even if he wanted to. But if you take your body and he's leaned over to the side and I make my feet parallel with the ground, so he wants to lean in, I straighten myself, even though he's crooked. That's going to put a bind on him to straighten back up. And as he straightens back up, he'll go from running to jogging. It's very difficult to sprint and that jog position. The same thing for a horse. If that horn, see how your horn's pointing to the inside, the slower he gets, the more it's coming back. It's getting himself righted. But in the beginning, when you were going kind of warp speed, that horn was pointing off to the side and you were pointing off to the side. It's your job that even though the horn's pointing off to the side, you sit straight. And now that's uncomfortable, that's uncomfortable, that's uncomfortable, now he's comfortable. Whenever he straightens up that horn to the sky, and when that horn straightens to the sky and you're on that loose rein, that horse is going to get that cadence that you hear in a Western movie, bluck-a-dum, 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 because he's going to be balanced. So we have to, this is a kind of a greenie that we're trying to get rehabbed to be good. So right here, watch him go around here. See your lean, you're completely lean with it, you're completely off center. And I know what you're saying. Well, my horse is leaning. I understand, but nothing's going to change if nothing changes. So we're going to have to create that change, and you're going to have to stand up, sit straight up and down, even if he's leaning. So what that means is he's leaning to the inside. Don't lean on your inside stirrup. Step to your outside stirrup and straighten yourself up. So even though my horn's pointing outward, I'm sitting up, and that's going to make him uncomfortable, and he's going to start rightening himself, and that horn is going to start pointing up, 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 up. And then when that horn points straight to the sky, you're going to find that your horse is slower and more relaxed and going on that loose rein. Another thing you can do to help that is you can start making that circle smaller by touching to the inside and releasing, touching the inside and releasing. It's going to kill your canter a little bit. He's going to trot with you, but it'll make him have to stand up. Very nice. Good backup. Like he's trying for you. So see that pretty posture you got there in that backup? I need you to kill that pretty posture. Think like a cutter. Cutters don't look pretty on a horse. They sit back on a horse. All right. Lindsay working with Eve, first grade, getting stuck when I try to move her shoulder. She won't move off pressure, or if she does, we stop moving forward. There we go. So this is a rehab Frisian that Simile is working with. That's a little aggressive. She's got her working really good and soft now, but she has been prone to taking offenses to pressure and trying to come get you, especially on the ground. So that adds another layer of difficulty because you have to be very aware whenever you're pressuring a horse like that, that you don't get in front of them where they can't come forward to you. So in this scenario here, if we're going to move those shoulders, we have to gain so much respect to that bubble that she's willing to move away from us. Plus, we're trying to be behind the horse, driving her forward. So we're behind the shoulder, behind the drive line, which again, when you have a horse that has a little malicious intent, it adds another layer of difficulty because you're aware that you don't want to get in the kick zone. You're aware that you don't want to get in front of that shoulder and have them bite you. So whenever it comes to moving that shoulder, we're going to have to bring energy to her, but we're also going to make sure that we keep our hands up between her and ourselves and that she wants to step away from us. So right there, we're kind of holding ourselves back. Your other horse, you just, hey, move over. With her, you're kind of guarded, rightfully so, kind of guarded, so you're not really adding that pressure. Hey, get away from me. Hey, because that extra layer of threat that horse poses. Yes, I'm not exactly sure what kind of pressure I should use in this situation. She has a very good respect for me on the ground at this point, but I'm still unsure what to do with this exercise. Again, it kind of puts you in a bind. It's almost easier and better to do it from the saddle on that one, that specific one, again, because of the threat that she poses from the ground. Oh man, I missed the text. You know, a good way to get her to move her shoulder on the ground is to long line her so that she can't face you. If you're long lining Eve and you get her soft and easy in that circle, and then you put pressure, step away, she can't turn and face you to strike you and bite you, because that outside rein will keep her from it. So a horse like Eve, a lot of times the way that I'll get their shoulder whenever, so we're talking about a horse that you pull your way and they come and they attack you. That's really where I learned my long lining from. Is I got a couple horses in that were so freaking mean that you couldn't ask them to flex, knowing you need to flex and you need to disengage. But if you would flex and pull them your way, they would turn and attack you, and they would bite you and strike you in the face and give you a bad day. So I learned, okay, how am I going to get them to get soft left and right, but I can't pull them my way? Or with a lead rope, I can't pull them away either, because I have a lead rope. So I started long lining those horses, and then I would long line them and get them in the same position that I wanted them in anyway, where I'm in the middle of the circle, in a small circle, flexing them towards me, where they're looking my way and coming my way. But then I could really mean it and say, hey, flex my way. But then before they can completely turn and attack me, that outside rein would come tight and save me. So very quickly I could say, flex, but don't attack me. Flex, but don't attack me. Well, then once they get soft there, I can get them to move their shoulder by stepping hard to them and say, hey, well, if they want to step away from me and they don't want to take their face from me, the only way for them to do that is to move their shoulders. So that specific horse, Eve, that's probably what I would do if I really wanted to get that shoulder moving better on the ground, is I would go to long lines. That takes the threat away. She can't attack you if she can't face you. It's amazing how some of the nastiest horses that I've met have also been the ones that make you contemplate and think and come up with new ways to do things. And that really adds to your toolbox whenever what works on everybody else doesn't work on that specific horse. So got to be thankful for the horses that try to murder me. Barb and Chica, we are working on gait and getting her comfortable in the bit. This was after a week off. I'm using a spoon bit. Perfect. Let's see what we've got. So we kind of have her up in frame and we're kind of walking around. A lot of times for me, once I get those young horses up in frame and I'm trying to put them on a spoon bit, I'm going to give them just a hair more. I'm going to bring my hands towards them a little bit more and get some forward. She looks like I'm being pressured. Why am I being pressured? And now she's going this way and that way. So I would just bring my hands towards her face a little bit and let her get some forward. Because right now, to me, what it looks like is a horse that feels trapped and doesn't feel like there's a way out. So she's staying away from it, like she respects it too much. And she's trying to get away from it, get away from it, get away from it. My hands would be up by her ears. I would be saying, go somewhere, go forward. And maybe we need to loosen up the curb chain or loosen up the cavesson to give her a little bit more freedom. If you see they get to a point where they can't really think logically, I'll probably look to make an adjustment to say, okay, what's too much for you? So right here, I'm just going to bring my hands towards her face. I'm going to allow her to go. Obviously, we have all the stop in the world that we need with that bridle. I'm loving her headset. I'm loving the way she's carrying herself. But the fact that she keeps touching our hands and that keeps setting her backwards, I'm just going to take my hands and bring them closer to her mouth. And that's going to give me more reins, more looseness in the reins, and allow her to go forward. Again, when I can tell that I have that much stop on a horse that they're going backwards, I'm not worried about letting them go forward. Here, go forward. One of the hardest things to teach about this is the fact that we have a contact rein, and that word contact really varies. So when I'm looking at that straight rein between her hand and that bridle, I can't tell if there's a pound or 10 pounds of pressure. Where I would be looking to put a little belly in that rein and say, here, honey, freedom, go forward. There we go. There we go. Now just free up. Just go forward. Let her roll a little bit more. Let her engage. Right there in her gait, she's being held back a little bit under her limit of what she's able to perform. Meaning, whenever I ask a horse to gait, I want to hold them to their slowest gait that they can keep rhythm. She's being held back below that, and that's what all the spitting and sputtering is coming from. So every different horse is different with their mechanics. But one horse can gait at 3 miles per hour, where another horse can only gait the slowest is 5 miles per hour for them to gait. It looks here to me that she's being held back a hair below what she's capable of gaiting, and it's creating all kinds of malfunctions. She's not built to go so much. If we let her roll, if we give her a little bit more speed forward, you're going to find that she goes and she's going to be able to gait. So allow her to go to the point that you hear those feet rolling. All right, Miss Christine with her new baby. Getting it softer and easier. So cute. Already working on getting it to give the pressure. There we go. There we go. And keep walking to the left. So we were talking about this with the long lines earlier. When you work on that giving to the butt, you just keep walking that way. There you go. Now you just walk towards her eye. Walk towards her eye. There we go. There we go. You got to walk towards her eye right there. And release. Nice. Good job, Christine. Good job. It's an adorable little baby. Nothing but legs. Looks like Bambi. Yeah, so this is the fun part about foals or minis is when you try to use their butt to move their head, the rope slides above their butt quickly. Is it a girl or a boy? So Miss Bamba, that mare right there, comes right here from Poplarville, Mississippi. And I rode her as a filly in the national championship. She was an awesome, awesome filly. Oh, it's a filly. It's a girl. It is Bambi. Some people might say, oh, is this too young to teach? The earlier you teach the horse how to give the pressure, the safer they're going to be. So the idea that, oh, it's easier with a blank slate when they're 3. Trainers say that it's easier for a blank slate when they're 3 because a lot of folks, whenever they play with the foals like this, they give them a lot of bad habits because they don't teach them respect. So you see Christine already showing her, like, yes, she's playing with her newborn baby, but also she's already showing her how to give the pressure, which is going to make that time from being a foal to being ready to ride safer. Horses get in trouble that go through that adolescent stage, go through that baby stage, and don't know how to give the pressure because if she hangs a leg in that fence, she won't know how to quit, yield, or give. If you start early on showing the horse how to give the pressure, how to lead, how to take direction left and right, how to give, whenever she gets herself in a bind, she's going to be a lot more likely not to get hurt, to not get injured, just stop and wait for you. You show those horses real young how to tie, I'm talking about it makes them so much safer. Miss Marty said, I rode Bamba at my first retreat and loved it. Yeah, she's a good girl. Yeah, I like how the mom was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Look here. Sometimes you don't know how these mares are going to take womanhood. I have been around mares that I know and everything's just fine. And I look outside and say, oh, there's a baby. How cute. Let's go see the baby. And when you go out there and start fiddle farting with that baby, that mare comes to life and starts trying to eat you and just abort. The fact that she's just letting you be with her and play with her and not having an issue, that tells you how good minded it is. Because I've seen some ones get aggressive. I had a mare that I was probably 14 or 15 years old. Oh, we need to go catch this mare and put her in the barn because she had her baby. And we come out there, I'm 14 or 15. Sure, I'll help you. No problem. This mare goes by. I'll say, wow. I throw my rope. It goes right on her. The second I pull tight, she looks at me, I look at her, and she starts eating her way down the rope, like that scene from Jaws where he starts eating his way down back the boat. Oh my goodness. You don't know what to do when you have a horse on a lead rope or a rope and they start coming your direction. You're like, what do I do with that? Nothing. Run for your life. That's what you do. All right. So we have a couple questions that I need to answer. I believe this was left up for me. What issues are you having or struggling with? I truly need help with my green mini horse. He has never been worked with before and is very jumpy. He is already gelded. What would be the first steps to calm and train him to lead? First and foremost, mini horses are not special, contrary to their belief. The reason mini horses act so wonky and ponies act so wonky is people don't treat them with the respect and the dignity of a horse. If you treat them like a big horse, they will act like a big horse. But we don't treat them like that. We treat them like we can manhandle them. And because of that, that's why they get the reputation that they're given. So if I was you, mini horse that I'm going to start that has never been messed with, the same way you just saw Christine, find a way to put a halter, where that means you have to rope them, whatever you got to do, get your hands and put a halter, and then just show them how to lead. Show them how to give the pressure, give their face, give their butt. That's step one. Without that, you're going to get yourself in trouble. It's just going to be a fight. So you show them how to lead. Once they know how to lead, you show them how to tie. Once they know how to tie, you're going to start going through the respect series and start desensitizing. But you're going step by step like they're a grown horse, like they're a big horse that you have to respect. If you give the mini horse the dignity of the fact that they're a horse and you treat them step by step like a horse, your finished product is you will have a horse that's just littler than the rest, but they will act the same. Mini horses and ponies don't act the same because we don't treat them with the same respect as we treat a big horse. And a big horse, you treat them with respect because they weigh 1,000 pounds and you have to. There's no other option. With a mini, that's why they act the way they act. So I would just go through the respect series the same as a colt start. Anything else you'd like us to know? I would like to get this horse out of a small arena area since the owners are afraid he will hurt himself in the pasture. With another mini horse and a normal size horse, he has a harness on, and I was able to get a lead on him, but it spooked too much and have not been able to get it off. He is wild, but so scared. Please help. Okay. If you are going around with a drag line on a horse and you can't get the drag line back, add an extension to it. If you can get your hands on the drag line, you want to add an extension. So a lot of times when I get a BLM Mustang in my round pen or in an area where I can put my hands on them, I will immediately grab an old lasso that's 30 feet long and where it's completely stretched out, doesn't have a loop in it. It just has the Honda, the hole that the rope goes through. I will take my lead rope and go through that hole of the lasso and make a knot. I just extended my lead rope by 30 feet. So if I have a 15-foot lead rope, now I've got a 45-foot lead rope and a 50-foot round pin. There's nowhere that horse can go that I can't hold on to them. What's going to happen is this. As that horse starts running off from me, I'm actually going to fall behind the horse on a 45-foot lead rope behind the horse. That round pin or that arena is going to start turning. Now I'm beside him now because the arena's turning. I got a 45-foot lead rope and I'll start holding. When he stops and looks my way because I'm behind him, I release him. And that will be a BLM Mustang's first experience with giving and releasing. And I find this to be the easiest way to do it. I used to try to make it happen with my halter and lead, and it took very good timing on my part. It took me being very athletic and running and holding and running and holding. When I figured out, oh, wait a second, I could just add a 45-foot extension, and now there's no rush on my end. I can do it on my own terms whenever I'm ready. It was a game changer, not just for me, but a lot of people who don't have that coordination to really move their feet, stop. A lot of people, whenever you have a horse that's just dragging, you got to turn into anti-lock brakes, where you move your feet, and then you stop. Say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Are you Millie the horse guru? Yes. Say goodnight, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Blow him a kiss.
Give Daddy a kiss.
Give that a kiss.
Okay, let's go to bed.
Horsey.
Horsey.
Yeah. She's looking at the Zoom call.
All right. So yes, when I'm getting drugged, I turn into anti-lock brakes, meaning I move my feet, boom, I plant. I move my feet, boom, I plant. The horse pulls me out of the plant, and I move my feet, and then I plant again. If I do that 4, 5, 6 times, I haven't met the horse that'll take it. They have think, and then they go and think, and then they go and think. They have to give into that. But then when I figured out how to add an extension to my lead rope on a horse that's taking the rope from me, boom, that's it. Horse hasn't taken the rope from me since I figured that out. As soon as I see that they're that kind of horse that is willing to just pull 15-foot of rope away from me, immediately I go into a smaller area, a round pen, a small arena, and I give them a 30-foot extension to my lead rope. You're not taking the rope from me now. Also, science for all you sciencey folks out there, the further you get away from the horse, the heavier you are. My driving mentor said you bring the biggest, baddest horse, and if you put 100-pound sack on the end of a 100-foot rope, you'll make that big horse quit. Think about that. 2,000-pound draft horse. My mentor says if you get a 100-pound sack and you make him drag it with a 100-foot rope, that horse will quit. The same way, whenever you see the Amish driving a plow and there's 6 horses, notice something. The 6 horses are always beside each other, being as close to the implement as possible. It's never like a Western movie where they're stretched out. When you see a stagecoach that has 2, 2, and 2, that's because they're trying to travel on a road and they have to be close. But that is not the strongest way those 6 horses can be. When they're pulling a plow or they're pulling something heavy or they're pulling logs, they put them abreast so that they can be closer to the weight that they're pulling. So to counteract that, to counterbalance that, if a horse is dragging me, I want to be as far away from them as possible, because that's going to make me heavier and heavier through the laws of physics. My anti-lock brakes are broken. Don't worry, my anti-lock brakes are getting worse and worse the older I get. I have to get smarter and smarter because I don't move as quick. How can I get my horse to accept getting shots from the vet? He becomes very hard to handle and will run through us and try to get away from us. All right. This is a scenario that you want to spend $150, $200 and get yourself a hitching post. It's that simple. So many issues that horses have with getting vaccines, with getting their shots, getting their coggins, getting clips, getting the vet, the farrier, this, that. It's the facility is not built for it, and we're doing things by hand. When we do things by hand, I'm going to get an injection in my neck, and I see it, and I already know what it is, and I'm going to get upset. And I can just walk that way. You can't stop me, and I'm going to get a release. Like I can make it last longer before I feel that pain. Well, very quickly that horse figures out shot, move, no shot. Shot, move, no shot. And that creates that habitual, I see a vet and I'm already starting to booger around. Instead of that, if you have a hitching post, which is a H, I prefer it made out of drill stem, out of steel, but you can do it out of real thick PVC filled with concrete and rebar, or you can make it out of 3 railroad ties that you cut little blocks in, but it's going to be an H, about 3 feet in the ground. For the H, the cross member is about 4 feet out of the ground, and you time over that. When I come to them, I give them a little freedom. If they start to get fussy, I start removing some liberties, and then I snub them up. Safer for my vet, safer for my horse. The next time around, the horse sees the vet and gets a little worried. He gets a little funny in the face. I just snub him up a little bit, and now it's even less. By the 3rd or 4th time, he starts realizing if I just stand here, they're not going to snub me up. That's going to work with worming. That's going to work with clipping. That's going to work with vet work. It's your ability to remove yourself emotionally from the situation. When people go with the wormer and they start going to the horse's face and the horse is free-handed, they're holding it here by the halter and they're bringing the wormer there and the horse is like, ah. And then you start searching for them. And the more they move their face around, the more you chase them around and try to jab it. When you finally do get it in their mouth, you stab the dog out of them with the wormer. Nothing about that makes that horse better the next time. Versus I come up and I bring this to their mouth. If they move, I say, oh. I tie them down a little bit closer. No, you still have a problem? Oh, tie you down where there's no movement. I slide this in gently and easily, and I worm the horse. I had somebody at the last retreat. I want to see you worm my horse. I really want to see you worm my horse. My horse might kill you. He broke this and he snapped that. So, oh, okay. And I wasn't putting her off, but we were at a retreat. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, okay. Finally, the last day, she's like, I need to see it. Okay, grab your wormer. We brought the horse over, brought him to the H, tied him up. I walked up to him like I didn't expect the problem. I slid the wormer in his mouth. And she said, when is it going to happen? I said, it already happened. It happened. What do you mean it happened? Yeah, your horse is wormed. Here's the empty worm. What do you mean? But it's already over? Just setting ourselves up ahead and pre-planning and having the facility and having the place to do it. If you spend all this money on a horse, spending that $200 on an H, I mean, it'll be the best money you spent if you don't have this. If you're doing things that make the horse, it's not embarrassing. It's a learning experience. The same way. So this young lady saying it was embarrassing. It's not embarrassing at all. This is just how I learned everything I learned in my life. I would be struggling with a horse and say, Pops, man, this horse is doing this, or he won't do that. He said, oh no, bring it to me. And he would get on the horse and do this. Pops, this horse don't walk. Stupid horse won't walk. He said, oh no? Okay, you'll give it to me. Pluck up. See, he walked. It's you. You're broken. It's like, oh, okay, awesome. You only have that happen to you a certain amount of times before you start trying harder and harder to figure out the answer before you go looking for help. So it's just one of those moments. It got you because we just were in a bad moment, in a bad state, and the horse got the better of us. Okay, well, that happened yesterday. We're going to treat today like it's a new day because it is a new day. Think about this. If your horse got the better of you, no big deal. Treat the horse like the horse it can become, not the horse that it is. If you treat a man like the man that they are, they'll always be that man. But if you treat that person like the person they can become, they'll morph to that person. So it's the same way with a horse. Even if I had to read the right act to a horse yesterday, I come out today expecting the horse to work right and give them the benefit of the doubt before I start getting stern or changing something. You wouldn't believe worming, clipping, trailering. There's a few things like that. Shots, vaccines, farrier work, that people, because of the experience they have with other horses, will come to a horse that's never had it done to them and already be aggressive and assertive and be looking funky whenever they do everything else so relaxed and so easy. But when they know they have to worm the horse, they're coming at this colt start that's never had a wormer in his life. And already the horse is like, what is going on? So remember, whenever you see us desensitize a horse or we flag a horse or we do anything, look how we just treat it like it's another day at the office. And you can tell in that horse's face that it's not another day in the office, as they're real flighty the first time or two. But we're just so cool as a cucumber, smacking the saddle with a pool noodle and going, blah, that the horse is like, I guess this is normal. Yes, that's correct. So we want to do the same thing. We want to have that same kind of approach when we're clipping, when we're worming, when we're doing backs, and then having the place where you can do it and help yourself. The name of the game for horsemanship is this: how can I mentally pressure them without me being mentally pressured? If you feel mental discomfort, you're not going to do a good job. Quite frankly, because the name of the game is pressure and release. And if your brain is saying, oh my God, we're going to die, watch out, be careful. You know what your brain's not saying? Pressure, release. The only thing your mind needs to be thinking in all these scenarios where we're teaching is pressure, release. Left, let go. Right, like whatever the thing is that you're asking a horse to do. So if you are not in a position that you could think that, because you know your intuition tells you you're in danger. You need to stop what you're doing and think, okay, how can we change this scenario where the ball's in my court? Like the part that's the part of the H, like the part that's the capital part of the H over the horizontal bar. Is that a question? Like the part that's the capital of the H. Yes, it's the H that I'm talking about is a capital H. 4-foot bar that goes here. Your horse puts his head over, just like a hitching post. Bum, bum, bum. There's a couple more questions here. How
up here?
thick? Yeah, I got those.
Okay.
How thick are the metal pipes for the hitching post? I bet they're a good 1/4 inch thick. Will give you just about everything you need. Might be able to go with a little lighter than that, but I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. But you get a 1/4 inch thick walls. They should be big enough. As far as how wide the diameter should be, you get over 2 inches. I've had them 4 inches. I've had them 3 inches. I think the ones we have now are 3-inch wide pipes. But
Bigger the horse, bigger the pipe.
yeah, you rather have more than less. You're gonna buy it one time. So the thicker, but you need to look at that and say nothing is moving. I could tie an elephant to it. Is what you want to be thinking. All right. Well, guys, thank you.
Before they hop off.
Before you hop off, we have some exciting news.
Oh, don't pull me
Come
on.
on, my love, my beautiful
I don't
wife.
want to be on.
There we go.
Oh, hello. If you guys have not signed up for the Horse Help Challenge yet, we are getting down to 19 days?
19
So we
days.
kick off for that. You're not going to want to miss it. It is free. Horsehelpchallenge.com. That was first thing. What was second thing? Oh, so it's almost Easter. So there will be a Easter egg hunt on our website starting tomorrow. We will be sending out an email letting you know that the Easter egg hunt is live. And every day throughout the weekend into Monday, we will be dropping random prizes and giveaways and sales throughout the website. So you'll see all the pages on our website. They will be hidden. It'll say, congrats, you found an Easter egg, and it'll let you know what is below it. So that could be anything to winning a retreat, winning training, getting a super reduced price on training or retreats. We'll have something for saddles on there, tack, so many fun things. So again, we'll send an email out tomorrow letting you guys know when that's live. So if you're on there trying to sneak ahead of time, I don't know a good way to disperse those and do them all at the same time. So no cheating. I will let you know when those are live and ready to go. So if you guys want to have a little fun throughout the week into the weekend, we will have that. If you did the VIP upgrade option on the challenge, we are sending out some of those packages tomorrow. The next group will be going out next week as soon as I get the next batch of t-shirts in. So be looking for that. I'll also be doing a video showing you how to use some of the things that are in the VIP kit, like the tripod and how all of the fun extra things in there work. Let's see, anything else? Okay.
The Horse Help Challenge is going to be the shit, isn't it?
Right. It's going to be fun. So we have 4 sample horses. We have a colt start. We have a gaited horse. We have a hot horse. And we have a cold horse or a dull horse. So all 4 of those horses, what we're doing right now is if you sign up, you're getting access to our videos that's showing you what the steps are, pre-K through graduate school, the things we're doing for the 30 days. And then for the live portion of that, we're going to be reviewing each of those 4 different types of horses, going through each grade level each day. So we'll show you a video where we take each of those 4 horses through preschool. Then we'll do open Q&A. The next day, each of those 4 horses through kindergarten, open Q&A. So that's kind of how the live part of that will work. I will be having some dates shortly for you guys for tech check. So if you guys need help with how to log in, how to access the live videos, how to participate, I will walk you through all of that. So don't worry if you have any questions. We will be there to help. Anything else? Back to the retreat.
Back to the retreat, guys.
All
Thank you guys
right.
so much for tuning in. We will see you next
ya.
week on Horse Talk Live.
Oh no, I lost the mouse again. It's on one
Oh,
of
your
the
mouse is
screens.
not very well trained.
Where's the
Look at
mouse?
that. She's got like
Nope.
5 screens in front of her.
Not that way.
Look, it's right there. Oh, you missed it.
Nope.
Look at the mouse.
I don't see it. Do you see it? Why? Where'd you lose it to?
I didn't lose your mouse.
We can't get off. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Bye, guys.